of strategic planning. Sybil, if you would get us started.
Sure. This is the fourth and potentially final work session for your strategic plan. If the board desires tonight, we're asking for your adoption of the strategic plan. If you'll recall, at the last meeting, you all really cut down the number of objectives that you wanted to have in this, so you've got it really pared down, and you wanted to focus on just a few things per objective. So I'm going to kind of just go over these items, make sure I captured what you desired, and there's just one or two tiny little changes. And again, if the board is in agreement, we hope that you'll adopt this so that we can get these. Well, there's really just one item to get into the budget. So there's no changes to the mission, no changes to the 4 objectives that you all discussed. Again, the big changes were really cutting down the number of strategies. There are no changes to number 1, which is the improved school facilities. The A, B, and C stayed the same. The only difference is we just had a clarification for C, making sure that that was talking about the tax flyer and not the taxes themselves. On the second one, we did have a pretty big change. This is the implemented K through 14 workforce development program. After we discussed at our work session, our last work session, the feasibility study, I was notified that that actually has been done. And so apparently the superintendent and PCC president have already created a feasibility study. And so I've changed that one to receive a report about the feasibility study. And I can let Sherry speak to that if you all have any other questions about that. The other ones under here were removed, and the only one that was left was the Fund PCC STEM facility feasibility study, which you all have already adopted as part of your CIP. In the third one, which is support the economic development strategic plan, those items were cut down again, and we were left with implement economic development opportunities and target sector analysis, and then of course the land use plan. And both of those are already included or will be included in your budget. And then the fourth one, this was also pared down significantly. We're left with these 4 items, and there was a question about the YMCA feasibility study, so I did reach out to them, and they gave me a cost estimate of $24,000 to do a feasibility study. So again, that's the one that is not in your budget, so we'll need
You
to
reached out to the Danville?
Yes.
Who you talked to?
Sarah Fulmer. And she was excited that the board's
CEO.
Yeah, she's excited that the board's still interested. They said if this is something you want to move forward with, they recommend coming up and having a visit and kind of starting that process over again. So the other ones on here, again, it was pared down to these 4, and there were no really other changes on the other ones. So I'll let you all discuss and make any changes you want to add. And
Go back to number 2 again.
okay.
Did you delete B, did you say?
A, it actually had on there to fund, I think it was like $25,000 to conduct a workforce development feasibility study, but apparently that had already occurred.
Yeah, that's,
So,
yeah, I know about that one, the B part.
oh, B was Fund PCC STEM facility feasibility study. That's something that you all adopted as part of your
Right, yeah.
CIP.
Okay.
I'll let you all discuss.
Anybody see anything they want to change or add? Delete? Those that were deleted, you deleted some in the whole document?
Yes, that was the
Something-
request of the board, was to pare
So,
down the items under each objective.
Yeah, okay. That came from our direction.
Yes.
Okay.
Something you want to put back?
Well, I think it's a good list. It obviously gets us a start, and that's what we need. It's a lot of study and a lot of looking at the feasibility of doing some of these projects, but we won't know the scope of them until we do that.
Do we want to put a time limit on this?
I hope it's a 4-year plan. I mean, I wouldn't want to go much past 5.
Yes, it's from fiscal year 20 to fiscal year 24, and the way I would see it panning out is, you know, as Commissioner Jeffers stated, some of these are feasibility studies, so once you have the results of that feasibility study, we'll bring that back to you, and if you want to add items based on the results of the feasibility study, we would do that. So that's kind of how you would progress over the next 5 years.
Well, I guess that's where my concern is, that we have these. Are we gonna wait for even 4 years to take
I hope
action on
not.
these?
I hope
I
not.
hope not too.
Well, I mean, as far as the school's concerned, that's something we gotta start this year.
We're already behind, so we need to move along in a very determined manner with the studies and actions after study.
Each of the strategies has a fiscal year next to it, so it shows what will happen in that fiscal year. And again, as Commissioner Jeffers pointed out, you know, for example, the PCC STEM facility feasibility study, you know, we wouldn't be able to add activities to follow through with that until we get that study back. So we would have, you know, the PCC president come and share the results of that feasibility study. We can add items for fiscal year 21 and 22, etc.
All right, where do we stand with the landfill people?
Well, you would have a closed session discussion at your next 2 meetings with that, for that.
So that's already in the works? Okay.
Well, I get shocked if I go home and don't say it, but we are a pre-K. Is that the correct term? We do have a pre-K program, so instead of being K through 14, we want to include the little ones as well as far as our scope of direction.
For workforce development?
Not a workforce, but you know, when we're talking facilities or, and you got K in there. So that will just show the whole scope of our programming here in the county.
Okay. I can take that edit.
Very few counties, I think, are the administrators of their pre-K grant. Some of them are nonprofits, Telemon, in some counties and stuff. So I think it'd be nice to highlight that it's run through our school system.
Okay. So is that something you want me to edit on the workforce development program and?
Just whenever you have a cover letter or whatever we're going to have in a
Okay.
plan,
Got
make
it.
sure it's mentioned that we have a
Pre-K through.
very good pre-K program.
Yes, definitely. Okay.
We're gonna put them work at 4 years old.
I started when I was 7.
You got 5 on here, ain't much difference in a year.
No.
I like it until Mr. Powell's point about the schools. I mean, I assume what we're waiting on now is just what we hear back from the debt consultant. And we can move right along with what we can, he'll tell us what we can do.
You'll run as many scenarios as you'd like him to run. Figure out your options.
And we'll start talking to him when?
He'll be here this summer. I think we're waiting until a budget is adopted. He's gonna come initially with some financial policies to implement some updated policies that we need in place. And so we'll start working with him a little more closely this summer. We've already had a couple of meetings with them and we'll continue to do so in preparation for them coming to the board in the summer after the budget's been adopted.
All right, anybody got anything they want to add or delete? Have a motion to accept it like it is? If we got a vote on
I think you'd like to adopt it. have an adopted plan.
Move for approval.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All righty, we have a game plan. Now, see if we can stick to it.
No, we have.
All right, is there anything else we need to talk about? Or
Brief recess.
can we start the regular meeting early?
Be nice.
The only thing you can talk
When
about.
they get here, we'll be adjourning at 7.
Okay, have a motion, in recess until 7 o'clock now.
Yes, sir, thank
Is that the proper etiquette?
you. The law.
Tell the IT man, turn it
Statute.
off.